Welcome into the broadcast, Jackalopes fans. My name is Michael Wazinski, the voice of the Odessa Jackalopes, here for the 2022-23 campaign as they get ready to take the ice here at the Ector County Coliseum for the first time this season. And they will be going up against the El Paso Rhinos, who have a record of 5-3 and a road record of 4-2. They are coming off a bye week. On top of that, were swept the week before that at the hands of the Lone Star Brahmas, who are already on their path to another South Division regular season title, as they have a big lead so far. But again, still plenty of hockey left to be played. Jackalopes, this is game number 9 of 60 for them. As for the Rhinos, it is also game number 9 of 60 as well. And here's how the starting lineups will look. The Rhinos going with the first line of Donovan O'Neill, Bo Cosman, the UMass commit, and my player to watch for the El Paso Rhinos, and Colby Amici on the right wing. On defense, it will be Jacob Zarecki, and on the right side of him will be Michael English. Between the pipes from San Diego, California, 6 foot, 160 pounds, the O2 netminder Hunter Garvey. And for your Odessa Jackalopes, they will be going with the top line of Ryan Mansfield, Ryan Kelly, and Tanya Bezier. On defense, it will be John Wojciechowski and Nate Boak. And between the pipes will be Greg Odorozo for his third consecutive start. Won his last one, first one in a Jackalopes jersey. Had a fantastic Jackalopes debut weekend in Shreveport, Louisiana. Of course, the first one didn't go his way. Still had 30-plus saves each night. And again, had only let in 3 goals over last weekend's series. The Jacks back in the win column after snapping that 6-game losing streak, getting their second win since the first one on the season when they beat the New Jersey Titans, the defending Robertson Cup champions, by a score of 2-1 at the NAHL Showcase. As the starting lineups are being read over the PA system and their intros on the video board. Again, Jackalopes wearing specialty jerseys this weekend. White and pink in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, with the jersey auction taking place tomorrow here at the Ector County Coliseum. It will be Pink the Basin night tomorrow. And again, make sure you get your tickets in advance. It is a enormous crowd here on Friday. Permian still having their game against Midland Legacy. And even with them in action, this is still a great show of support for the Jacks on their very first game here at the Jack Shack. And of course, a big round of applause for the national anthem being sung right in front of the all-face officials box, right across from the benches that now have the starting lineups in front of them. Again, top line for offense on both sides. Top line on defense for the Rhinos. For the Jacks, it's their second line, and both teams going with the hot hand right now, Hunter Garvey. For the El Paso Rhinos, has been their go-to man recently, with an overall record of 4-2. This is his 7th game played this season. 14 goals against, a save percentage of .899, and a goals against average of 2.30. As for number 33 for your Jackalopes, Greg Ordos, This is game number 3 for him in a Jackalopes jersey. He is 1-1 this season, 1.51 goals against average, and a save percentage, a whopping one to say the least, .959, the Győr Hungary native. Off on the right-hand side, Jackalopes going right to left for periods 1 and 3 here from the Jack Shack. Officiating group this evening, Dylan Slater, the one with the orange armbands, the lone referee, linesman Sean Rounds, and Jacob Rosenberg. And some storylines later that I will get to as play progresses on here this evening. Puck is dropped, and period number 1 is officially underway for the 2022-23 campaign for your Odessa Jackalopes. As it's quickly touched by Garvey in below the goal line. New scoreboard on display as well. One of the talking points from this past summer was, of course, getting one. As that one's whipped right past Odessa over to the near side where it's picked up by Mansfield. Played right to Wojciechowski. Tries to dish it across to Kelly, who lobs it diagonally into the right corner. Bezier comes away with it. Bezier unable to tuck it back in front. And that one misses the skate of Mitchell. And all the way down it goes. Mitchell picks it up in behind his netminder. Comes all the way down the right side. Settled for good. Tied with currently Mansfield for the team lead in point, or Bezier, I should say, with 5. Mansfield right there with 4. Good leads the team in goals with 4, as he has it now. Slides it across, but offside is called. And head scratching is the Jackalopes coach, Scott Dewar, as was assistant coach Chris Francis, thinking that it was still on that blue line kept in. Null and void. We're over a minute into period number 1 of a scoreless hockey game here from the Ector County Coliseum in Odessa, Texas. Again, thanks for tuning in on Hockey TV or over on the Jackalopes YouTube channel for the audio-only feed. As it's a neutral zone draw, swept back by El Paso. The Jacks went 5-3 against the Rhinos last season. All 8 games were played in the first half of the season, and the last time these two teams touched the ice, it was right back here in Odessa. The Jacks put up their most goals in a season with 8 en route to an 8-2 victory against the Rhinos in their inaugural season. But new season, new head coaching staff as well, led by Joe Coombs and Josh Brown. They've been a tandem for quite some time. They came from the Jamestown Rebels, as that team has relocated back to Philadelphia for the second time in that organization's lengthy cross through the NAHL. As there's also a scoreboard over in the right-hand side, up on the top pillar above the spotlights, as it's being patiently stick-handled in behind Greg Orozzo. Unable to touch it past the red line where the Jacks, so icing is called. 18:24 left to go in the first. 0-0 is the score here from the Jack Shack. This is going to be an offensive zone draw, far side circle. Taking it will be Zev Podolski. And that one's redirected aside by Odorozo over to the half boards. Pushed back up to the blue line, ramps off the end wall and trickles around the yellow trim. Over to the near side where it's hacked at. And finally settled down by Podolski. Picked up by Tefelsky. And his pass right into the slot, intercepted by the Jacks. As Gans has it. Scored the first Jackalopes goal this season against New Jersey. It also marked his first NAHL goal, as Odessa's playing forecheck in enemy territory. And it finds the stick of Mark LaFrance. LaFrance tries to backhand across. Good breakup and a follow-up shot. Trampolines off the end boards and is recovered on the far side by J.R. Pernian. J.R. streaking from right to left. One hand on the stick. He'll enter the attacking zone and avoids a hip check thrown by Thomas Adam. As he'll throw it off that far side corner boards with 17:20 left to go in the first. Jacks come away with it. Top of the right circle. Now to the blue line. They wait. Fire one and a skate save out in front by Jacob German. Kept in top of the left point by Mitchell and dug out. Jacks are offside. They have to regroup. Snapped right in front of the Rhinos bench, and a turnover as El Paso enters lone man. And a shot and a glove save by Ordos with 3 minutes in to period number 1. And then, again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in on Hockey TV, and especially the Rhinos fans. I know Duke not traveling. They got any 3 games going on this weekend in Rhino Country, home of the 7th man. But that title might be handed right over to the Jacks with this large crowd on hand for their very first game of 28 here at the Jack Shack. Game number 2 tomorrow between these two teams at 7:15 p.m. as that one is steered aside by Garvey and lobbed up and out of play for a souvenir. The next home series for the Jackalopes will once again be against this El Paso Rhinos squad, as that will come on November 11th and the 12th. The Jacks won't make their way to El Paso, Texas until the second half of the season in that February-March area, where they're on the road for quite some time, which is very interesting because last year, again, they played all 8 games in the first half of the season. And it's a turnover out in front. An opportunity for the Jacks to get a shot off, but it was a knuckler and couldn't be settled down. Mitchell lets one fly into a body, and that was number 29, Bo Collinsman, the UMass commit. Jacks scored a goal last weekend against Shreveport's netminder Aiken, as icing is called, against El Paso. So offensive zone draw coming up for your Jackalopes. They converted, and that was very quickly into the opening period, and right there Hunter Garvey gave it away, but luckily for him it didn't reach the back of the net that he is guarding here for game number 1. Draw will be to his left-hand side, our right, as we were coming off a Rhinos icing. Justice and German switch sides on defense. It's sent back to the top of the right point, kept in by Varney as he'll lob it deep. El Paso already a third of the way to their win total that they had last year. They sit at a 5-3 record. Went 3-1 in the NHL Showcase, again, in just their second year here in the North American Hockey League. The Jacks already in double digits. They started back in 2011-2012. And that season they had a man named Connor Hellebuck, whose numbers retired over below the scoreboard to the left, behind Garvey. And that happened last season. Getting to it first was Troutwine. His clearing attempt fought off with a body. As players come together below the goal line, Mansfield stick handling with it down that half wall. Onto the stick of Wojciechowski, who's passed around line and fires it county corner to the right-hand side. Bolton actually gave way for Hunter Fedorov to take it, as it swept back over to the Jackalopes defense and quickly touched forward off the blade of Gans. And now the Rhinos surge the other way. Janda fired one, picked right back up by El Paso as they streak in from right to left. They dish it all the way back up top. A shot hit a body in front and a sprawling save by Rozo. The puck was loose, but he goes into the splits once again, and a tremendous save from the Hungarian native. 14:48 left to go in the first. Something the Rhinos definitely have to focus on and address is scoring in period number 1. 2 goals for, 9 goals against, a differential of -7 for them, which is the second worst across the NAHL, as they intercept that one at the top of the left point. A log jam of players, 2 from each side, meeting on that far side corner. And finally, 1 from each party come in to help push out the vulcanized rubber, where it's picked up in that left dot, flipped forward, and now sent rink wide to a waiting Adam Armijo, who's got his family in attendance. He was unable to get a return feed back, and it's sent forward and all across to that far left side to Zarecki. Hughes picks it up in behind Orzo. Snapped off the windshield and out. Hand is raised by the linesman Rounds, but it won't have enough to go for icing as Garvey touches it up and sends it back out the center. El Paso retrieves it near side corner from the right circle. Good stick on puck by Odessa, but they are unable to send it right back to Kadlisic as Mitchell That's a backhand in around the J.R. Purdy, who's unable to clear. Capped in from the blue line by El Paso. 13:25 remains here in period number 1 of a very jam-packed Jack Shack here for game number 1 on the home ice of 28. And covered that one up to the side of his crease is Greg Oroz. And it is 5-1 in favor of the visiting team. But while El Paso, again, is struggling to find that scoring flow in period number 1, when they do score the first goal of the game, they have a 100% success rate. They're 3-0 when doing so. Twisting and turning with it is O'Neal. O'Neal cuts in, tries to tap it home, and is unable to do so. As again, in the butterfly, to cover it up between the leg pads was Orderos. And it's another offensive zone draw for the Rhinos. A much different look to them this season that compared to last when it was their inaugural season. Of course, they've had some coaching changes as well as some player changes, and some players have returned, but a large portion of them are newcomers to El Paso, one of the only 2 teams that call the Mountain Time home, the other one being New Mexico. Fighting for it hard along the near side boards. There's a Jackalope and a Rhino. It finally comes loose. And sent far side now to give chase for Troutwine. Cosman enters. Cosman left circle, flashing the leather again is Orderos. And the UMass commit comes up empty from that left circle shot. 12:40 left to go in the first. Still a scoreless hockey game. Directly behind Orderos' cage. As players are still jostling for puck position. Now into the near side corner. Recovered by Fedorov. Given right back up to Mansfield. And now the Jackalopes are able to lob it deep thanks to Tanguy Beige here. 3 Rhinos in after it near side. Wojciechowski fires one. Block shot. Puck is loose in the left circle, and good stick on puck by Odessa. Kelly unable to grab a hold of it as he is muscled off the puck by Fedorov. Right back after it is Kelly up against Max Matthews. He'll hit the break far side. Backhanded forward and almost played out. Kept in by Wojciechowski and off the tip of the left glove of Garvey. Shot from the far side intentionally wide. As the Rhinos will see that one go out to center ice. They're making changes on the fly. Mitchell snaps one forward right to a winning Mansfield at the red line right in front of the penalty box boards. And icing is called. 11:30 left to go here in period number 1. As we have still a scoreless game here from the Jack Shack. Like I said, it's been quite some time since these two played one another. A whole calendar year. That was that New Year's Eve game last season. The Jacks put up 8 on the Rhinos as they fire one from the top of the left circle. Broken up by Mitchell, played right to the blue line, almost kept in by El Paso. And Gans fires once forward. Mansfield tries to hop around. Icing is waved off as Mansfield gets to it first and his pass back out in front. Misses Hoyard, and back to regroup with it is Mitchell. Fires it off the glass near side and for an icing. As we are just about 9 minutes in to period number 1 here at the Ector County Coliseum. It's off on the glove, or the blocker side, I should say, of Orderos. Gans to take it for Odessa. El Paso, top of the left point. They're able to send it below the goal line. Mitchell still after it far side. And they'll send it low for A.J. Reed, number 8. Off to the right of Orderos. Hands after it near side again. El Paso really working this offensive zone time as that snap shot went wide from Thomas Adam. And Odessa's able to flip it out. Gans drapes it on back to Stacy. Stacy near side now to Mitchell. That defensive pair got matched up for the first time last weekend in Shreveport, and they seem to fare pretty well against one another. That one's fired right off the near side board, so good. Good trying to leap around one, unable to do so. And you could tell the physicality stepping up as Cosman, a little toe drag move. Pirouettes from danger and a big hit thrown there. As now off to the races is Hoyer. Hoyer's got one man behind him. Hoyer down, and it's off the post on the near side. Oh, he absolutely had Hunter Garvey undressed between the 4x6, but just came up short on the backhand. Arneson dishes it across, far side out of Vardy. Gains the red line and fires it deep. Garvey comes out to settle it around that yellow trim far side as it's played out by El Paso. And one Rhino player in, that's Amici. He's thrown right off the puck by number 6, John Wojciechowski. As those two were tangled up behind the play. Armijo fires it forward now to Justin Hughes. Unable to keep his momentum going as it's held on that far side boards and knifed out by El Paso. There's some extracurricular going on between these two teams well away from the play. And of course, some know one another from last season as that one's caught promptly by Oros for the whistle. As Stacy going right back after an opposition after the play. That appears to be Sawyer Bolton, number 4 in black and orange. 9:08 remains here in period number 1 as we're still in search of the game's first goal. We have a media timeout. So I'll get to one of my talking points here as warm-ups end. Typically you see the home team have that last player on the ice, and it was again, it's a big thing wherever you go. Last weekend in Shreveport, the Mudbugs stayed on the ice until every Jackalope player was off, and it's kind of a hockey tradition thing and kind of an unwritten rule. You kind of give way to the home team. Well, at the end of warm-ups, Andrew Stacy and Donovan O'Neill had a rock, paper, scissors, which I've seen in the NHL before, but never seen it here at the NAHL. Well, O'Neill beat Stacy in a best of 3, and because of that, he was the last off the ice for warm-ups. A very unconventional way of doing it, but Stacy accepted it. Accepted the terms and conditions as that one's fired into the safety netting for a whistle. And again, that is a mutual respect between O'Neill and Stacy. And they agreed to it. Again, Stacy could have told him to go off and that he was his home ice and he wanted it. But last year we saw Frank DeVorney and Alex Proctor be the last men off for Odessa for the duration of last season. As unable to clear it are the Jacks. That one ramps off a stick and all the way down dangerously towards Oros as it's knifed over to the wall and finally played out by Odessa. Marshall unable to bring it in as Finn was a step ahead of him and offside is called. With 8:38 left to go in the first, still scoreless here from Odessa. New merch is on hand here at the Jack Shack. Make sure you check that out if you're unable to make it today and you're coming tomorrow, or for any of the other 27 games after today here in Odessa. Make sure you check it out. We'll be swapping new products in, new designs all throughout all home games. Make sure you show your pride wherever you are around town, or if you travel on the road to any of the Jackalopes games. Next weekend, they'll be in Amarillo, and they'll finish things off in Lone Star. And 2 big weekends coming up for the Jacks. Both of those teams in the top 3. Amarillo undefeated going into this weekend's matchup at home against Shreveport. Again, Lone Star just 2 weeks ago swept the Rhinos. First game very close. Second game it was a shutout by the Brahmas. As offside is called. With 8:04 left to go in the opening period. This arena holds about 5,000. I mean, last year of course, you have to kind of go toe-to-toe with football in Texas, which El Paso knows very well, and so do some other South Division teams, as it is hard to draw that hockey crowd in these non-traditional markets. It's the 26th consecutive year of having hockey right here in the Permian Basin, as dangerously playing it in front of his own crease was Nate Boak along the near side. As it's on the stick of Amici. They'll send it all the way back up top. They look for a deflection. They get it, but it's a safety net that it hits. And out the back of the net with 7:37 left to go in the first. But I will say, for a very first home game of the season, and typically, of course, you'll see some fans file in when the team's doing really well and they're on a very long streak or even playoffs, but this has that playoff atmosphere. I mean, it is absolutely packed here at the Ector County Coliseum, easily about half. And that one's fired through the 5-hole off the near side circle. Right past Odoros and directly off the ensuing draw. 7:35 left to go in the first, and it's 1-0 El Paso. The recipient of that goal, I believe, will belong to LaFrance. There are a lot of them in that circle, and a very quick celebration right back to the face-off dot as they go awkwardly into the Jackalopes bench boards. And it is Mark LaFrance. Shot number 10 registered for the Rhinos. 3 on the board for your Jacks, as they have had the puck in their end more than they would care to admit. As it's fired off the far side, boards kept in, rifled right towards the net, hit the screen in front. Jackalopes do have good presence defensively, and that goal by LaFrance certainly caught some of them off guard right off that face-off near side circle. And snuck underneath Odoroso's legs. And it's a 1-0 Rhinos lead, as there are a lot of players dinging for it. They muscle it through the blue paint, but all the way to the top of the right point. As Perdue was unable to quickly touch it around the defense, it drips on back to the neutral zone as Justice fires it right back into Odessa's zone. Mitchell off the opposing bench. Recovered and lobbed the other way by Kimmett. Puck is settled down in behind Orioles by none other than Blake Arneson, who had his 100th NHL game last Saturday in Shreveport, Louisiana. So 101 here tonight for the Red Wing Minnesota native. So that one's touched at the red line, but hand was raised. However, Garvey came out to play it, so icing is waved off. El Paso turns it over. Jackalopes with it. Send it below the goal line into that left circle with 5:45 left to go in the first. Marshall battling for it behind Garvey. Comes loose for El Paso. They sweep it up and out to center ice. Finn picks it back up, sends it forward. Marshall can't get a shot off. As coming out to cover it up was Garvey with 5:30 left to go in the first. It's a 1-0 Rhinos lead.
Get insured on your team. Turn affordable payments regardless of your driving history. Visit Direct Auto Insurance or call 877-720-5971 for a free quote today.
Almost kept in from Boak. On-man rush for the Rhinos. They send it across. High slot, drop back into the circle, and good poke check from Boak. Not allowing a shot from the Rhinos as they're already in double digits. Jackalopes held currently at 4. This is something, again, in past season, or especially last one, we didn't have the shots on the board, so it's great to see them get put up here, and so all the fans can, of course, see how play is progression, and myself as well. Looks like it's going to run out of steam just before it reaches Garvey's goal line, so icing is waved off as it's picked up far side by Odessa and sent right to an opposition stick. Stacy picks it up, his shot blocked off by Garvey. Stacy twisting with it in below the goal line, gets it back. He's still dancing with it. He's trying to get away from Jacob Zarecki. And it comes loose over to the near side where it's sent right to the red line. Intercepted by Mitchell, who fires one. Just missing that left glove of Garvey. Odessa unable to keep it in. Hoyer smartly plays it all the way to the near side for Arneson with some open room. Back to Hoyer. Fires one, blocked shot. Left circle. Up top to Christian. He fires one. Hits off the shaft of his stick. Stays in play. Backhanded to the right circle. Sent from low to high. Good sidestep by Arneson from the right circle now. He fires one and he gets dumped and he is laid out. And he is not moving in the Rhino zone. Play goes the other way. El Paso still with it. Arneson on his stomach. He hasn't even gotten back up to two legs or on two knees. It's still going on. The fans are booing. Got to watch out for the player's safety while the puck is, however, in the other zone. Gant finally touches it. And Scott Dewar and Chris Francis absolutely livid with the officiating. Hoyer goes over to the official to talk. Sander wants nothing to do with him. Arneson still on all fours. And I hope he's okay. That was a heavy hit. He got targeted twice last weekend in Shreveport. Hit in the numbers, face first into the boards. Talked to him after. He was okay. It was good to see that. But he was cutting right between the circles in the slot. And he just got leveled by a Rhino. No leaving the feet. No, this time no contact with the boards. I didn't quite see if there was an elbow. It was hard to tell. But no call from the referee regardless of the play. And he is still not back up yet. He's getting up to 2 feet now. And he's going to go right back to the locker room. No shot. He'll be returning as he does make his way back to the locker room on his own willpower, which is a good thing to see. But the fans here absolutely not happy with the play progressing for so long. Again, had play been in the Rhino zone, it would have stopped immediately, but however, it was in the Jackalope zone, and that was why I believe it was continuing for so long, because he was so far away from the play. However, the Jackalopes finally did touch it and play was halted. But you're basically playing 5-on-4 hockey at that point, so it is a disadvantage to the other team that has a hurt player. And we, again, are sending our thoughts and prayers to Arneson. He got back up on 2 feet after taking a vicious hit. Open ice in the Rhino zone. A hit that immediately sent him back and kind of mimicking a little bit of a Tua situation. And we all know what's happening with him in the NFL with the Miami Dolphins. But this is what's causing the delay. About 3:33 left to go in the first. Referee over there talking to new head coach of the Rhinos, Joe Coombs. A long tenure in the North American Hockey League. Him and his assistant coach, Josh Brown. But also Joe Coombs has, again, a very long history, not only coaching but playing, and is very familiar with El Paso himself. And again, I didn't quite see what the number was that hit Arneson, what Rhino player hit him. And I don't even know if Arneson quite saw it. It happened in the blink of an eye. Joe Coombs and the referee still talking things over, still a delay. And you can see it both ways. The puck was away from him. There wasn't any immediate threat, but you do want to attend to the down player as soon as possible, wherever they are on the ice. But the play that continues on is really at a disadvantage to the team that sees their hurt player that wants attention for him, as they now have to not allow a goal when it's 5-on-4 in their own zone because it's furthest away. And they are going to send a Rhino to the penalty box. It's number 4, Sawyer Bolton. There's 3:33 left to go. Rhinos are up 1-0. These shots read 11-5 in favor of El Paso. We don't really see too many of the hits where that situation happens. Usually it's kind of in the middle of things, or especially in the corner boards where typically you'll see a check from behind or a boarding call assessed and the play is blown dead. But that was one of those situations where play continued on. Now, how they scored, I don't know if the goal would have been called back There was no call from what I can tell. El Paso possessed it. The Jackalopes touched it, and then the play was blown dead. So all in all, I'd say they put up a 5-minute major on number 4, Sawyer Bolton. It's a 5-minute major. The Jackalopes can score as many times as they want. They trail 1-0. And all that from no call. They call a 5-minute major for head contact. So a power play for the Jacks, their first one of the evening, a Jersey Mike power play. So they'll have it throughout this whole end of the first period. An opportunity for them to surely tie the game, but both teams, special teams, has been struggling early on this season. Jackalopes only 3 power play goals so far on 32 opportunities, and now with it is Amici, right circle, passes it over, and unable to get a shot on the doorstep was Cosman. 2:45 left to go in the first. Jackalopes up 5 skaters to 4. And Amici not pleased with a tripping call that went uncalled as Boak has it far side. 2:30 left to go here in the first. And of course, concerns go out to Arneson as we hope he's okay. Not sure if we will see him for the rest of this game. And the way he, again, kind of laid out afterwards, I don't think we should. As hopefully he's getting the right medical attention over by the Jackalopes locker room. 18 minutes into period number 1 as Mansfield has it. Mansfield sends it cross sights. Brush back up top. Jackalopes now trying to work this power play. Wojciechowski back over to Hughes. They play catch, Bud Light logo. Stretch it across from right to left. Up top to Wojciechowski. They got to get a shot off. And finally do. However, it reaches the glass behind the goal line as Hughes is fighting for it near side. Sends it down low. Numbers for the Jacks if they can send it across. However, it caroms off a stick and dribbles back out to the neutral zone with under 90 seconds left to go here in the first. Stacy. Patiently in behind Greg Odoro's zone, brings it out. Leaves it back on open ice, far side. Right in front of the benches, it's played, sent forward, and offside is called with 1 minute left to go in the first. Now the time on that 5 minute, they have not started it on the scoreboard as there's only 60 seconds left. It read 3:33, as I had pointed out a few times due to the delay. So that would mean that there would be a minute and 17 seconds power play time going into period number 2 for the Jacks, but it's still a major, so they can still score in period number 2 once or twice, and that one won't go away. As they send it back up top to Stacy, the righty. Now over to J.R. Purdy, top of the left circle. They fire one, puck is loose just to the side. It's still in the near side circle and somehow picked up by El Paso and saucered out. My goodness, Garvey all over the place in his crease. And got some help as well as they're able to clear it the length of the ice. 20 seconds left to go in the first. Jacks get it as far as the circle, as far as the circles in enemy territory before it's played out. Jacks trying to quickly play. Garvey spins it around near side. No one in white or pink to pick it up. 5 seconds left in the first. A big hit thrown from Hoyard onto Troutwine, and that will do it for period number 1. Shots read 12-7 in favor of the El Paso Rhinos, and they are up 1-0 where it matters. A power play, again, that has been struggling for Odessa. Penalty kill struggling for the Rhinos as well. They sit 26th ranked in the North American Hockey League. 67.7%. They actually have a worse one than the Jacks. But Odessa 27th out of 29th on the power play, 9.4%, worse than the South. 3 power play goals on 32 chances, and a major power play still that will carry over into period number 2. That will have about a minute and 17 seconds left on it. or minute 20, my apologies, a minute and 23 seconds left on it. Or minute 27. Sorry about that. Math, not my strong suit. That's why announcing fit more proper. But it should be a minute and 27 seconds, as it was 3:33 remaining in period number 1. As they should fix that going into period number 2. I know they have it written down, of course, from the start of period number 1 to when that penalty occurred. So it's all written down. They just did not adjust it on the scoreboard. Nonetheless, it was going to remain for the rest of the first period regardless of if any goals were scored by Odessa. But we have about 17 minutes of first period intermission before we get ready for the second period here from the Ector County Coliseum in Odessa, Texas, as the Rhinos take a 1-0 lead into period number 2. When we come back in just a little bit, again, they are 3-0 when scoring the first goal of the game. It's just the third time this season, and now 9 games they have scored the opening goal and scored that goal in period number 1. And when leading after the first, the Rhinos 1-0. And when trailing after period number 1, the Jacks are 1-2. So it's still 40 minutes of hockey left. However, the Jacks without Arneson for most likely the duration of this hockey game and potentially tomorrow, as I'm sure there might be maybe a little bit of a concussion protocol for number 2 on defense. But they have Vardy as well as an extra forward and defenseman, so he'll slide over. He's from Raleigh, North Carolina, 6'4", 195 pounds. Greg Orros, third straight start. He has 11 saves so far through period number 1. Still, again, 2 periods left to go as the Rhinos lead the Jacks 1-0. I'll be back in just a little bit to get things started for period number 2. Stay tuned on Hockey TV. Welcome back into the broadcast here from the Ector County Coliseum. As the coaching staffs for both sides have made it back to their respective benches, and now we just wait for the players from each team to take the ice here to start the middle period. And again, I just want to give a shout out to all of our amazing sponsors. Discover Odessa Locker Room Haircuts, Frost Bank, Chevron, Northwest 9, Gold Standard, the Team Dentist, Odessa American 97 Gold, KMCM-FM, West Texas Tickets, Pickies, Payne's Gym, United Supermarkets, Culligan Water, Kicks 99.1, Lithia Toyota of Odessa, Market Street, Downtown Odessa, Permian Anchors, Power Source Hydration, Fox 24, ABC, Big 2, News West 9, Bud Light, Rock 95.1, Soft Suds, Jersey Mike's, the power blank for the Jackalopes, Texas Roadhouse, who provides wonderful meals for the billet families, the player parents, Texas Tech University, of course, Kenner Printing, the team's penalty kill, and Astound Broadband. Jackalopes fans, take your entertainment from fast to supersonic with Astound Broadband's award-winning internet. With reliable gig speeds and the latest technology, you can surf, stream, binge, and game even better. Watch and record your favorite teams and shows with Astound TV and Astound TV Plus. Connect to a world of astounding possibilities by calling 1-800-4-ASTOUND or visit astound.com today. Experience speeds may vary and are not guaranteed. Certain restrictions apply. Call Astound for details. Both teams are switching ends of the ice here for period number 2. Minute 27. After tabulating all the times from period number 1 is how long Sawyer Bolton has left in the sin bin before his 5-minute major is over. That is the correct number up on the scoreboard now. Off on my left-hand side now, the side that Oros is guarding as period 2 is officially underway. Mansfield sweeps it on back. A major power play assessed to Bolton for head contact back towards the tail end of period number 1 as Bezier tried to thread the needle, broken up by a leg pad as Wojciechowski picks it up, losing sight of it behind him and unable to bat it out of midair and keep it in was Hughes as he's now will send it cross ice. Jacks enter near or far side, onside. They fire one. Garvey catches it for a whistle. 30 seconds in to the second period. And we have a little bit of a scoreboard issue. We again have these new scoreboards. A minute 27 is the proper time. So it should be at 18:23. Here's when Bolton's able to get out. Right to the top of the left point. They fire one. Ricochets just wide as Kelly picks it up near side. This is a major. The Jacks can score as many times as they want. They got to get one as that one's punched aside by Garvey. And spun out by the Rhinos, but right onto the stick of Kaufman. The UMass commit backhands one, and getting a piece of it was Ordos as a Jackalope collides awkwardly into the end boards behind the netminder. Gets back to the bench. That was Wojciechowski on his own 2 feet. Stacy with a lot of room. Top of the point. Sends it in the open ice for Hughes. He misses that one. Settled down by Odessa. Top of the left point, it goes out, and offside is called with now 18:41 left to go. So a neutral zone drop. Odessa wins it from the red line. They fire it deep. There's about 10 seconds left on this major, and it's cleared out by El Paso, and that will pretty much do it. And they bring him out now. As Gans has it far side, Gans works in, and a good deke through the slot. He had to find it back in that right corner. He dribbles all the way back up top to Stacy. They fire one. Puck is loose left side, and somehow Garvey makes a save. Oh my goodness, a highlight reel save now from number 1 in the black and orange as he goes and retrieves his stick from just the right-hand side of him. Garvey sacrificing everything, the California native from San Diego. Jackalopes have it, left side. Shot hit a stick in front, caroms over to the left corner. El Paso with puck possession. 17:35 left to go in period number 2. Hit the linesman, and turning and firing it deep is Odessa. All the way around the yellow trim. Picked up by Jack Christian. Armijo's rubbed off the puck. J.R. Purney with it. Fighting that trim, lost a handle on himself as El Paso breaks down the slot. They shovel one towards Greg Oroz, and then he's able to come up with 2 big saves to keep the puck out from behind him. Odessa picks it up from the neutral zone. They feed it on back to the defense. Boak unable to pick it up, and from a sharp angle, sails right past Oroz and out to center it will go. Armijo, and that one stripped from his possession as Hughes trying to get it away from the opposition. Right past Nick Justice. Snapping that one deep is the lone goal scorer, LaFrance. Right over to Hughes. Hughes now walks in left side, tries to leave it into the left circle. And too much congestion between the hash marks, and it's broken up, and play goes the other way. Led on by Amici. He's got O'Neal behind him. Puck flutters over to the far side as him and Marshall battle for it. Rhinos trying to play it out in front. It's loose top of the crease and dug out by Marshall as he flipped it off the bench boards. After it is Finn. Marshall unable to play it forward as Finn was offside as the Rhinos have free puck possession now far side from English. Stacy sends it near side and snapped right off the stick of Kedlasick, who was at the red line, so no icing is called. Garvey dangerously played it back around to the near side. 15:35 left to go here in period number 2. It comes loose for Mitchell, fires one. Hits the traffic in front. Settled down by Odessa, played up and tipped out by Amici from Orchard Park, New York, as he goes toe-to-toe with Mitchell in behind the Jackalopes goal line. Again for the Rhinos, leading after the first period. They are 1-0, and they are 3-0 in scoring the game's first goal. The Jackalopes are going to have to pull some magic out of their sleeves, as this Rhino squad certainly likes to play with a lead. Marshall sees that puck go across from him. Far side, touch right off the stick of LaFrance, who goes back after it far side against Mitchell. With 14:45 to play here in the period. Comes loose for Kimmin. He switches sides with Justice. 16-10 are the shots in favor of El Paso, as Kelly picks it up and sends it out. Right to Mansfield. Leaves it back for Kelly. Kelly with a lot of speed. Kelly right circle, shoots. Logo staying from Garvey. And no rebound to come. Kelly took that big hit last weekend against Shreveport and was out for game 2. It was a shoulder injury that plagued him from being in that lineup, but it's good to see him here this evening, wearing that white and pink jersey that will be up for auction tomorrow after the game. Again, puck drop tomorrow, 7:15 p.m. This is the first meeting of 8 between these two teams. Slap shot, hit a body in front, ricochets over to the far side where it's sent deep by Gans, and they try to play it off the net. Jackalope player was taken down as puck was fluttered into the near side corner right by the referee. Hand has remained down minus that 5-minute major, and even then it wasn't called at that time as it dribbles back out to center ice. So referee Dylan Sater really letting both teams play on here at the Jack Shack. 13:45 left to go here in the second period as Odessa is trying to equalize things as they trail 1-0. And they will blow the play down for a neutral zone drop right in front of us here on the broadcast booth with 13:40 left to go in period number 2. While the Jacks, as the home team, while this is their first true home game here in front of the hometown crowd, they are 0-1-0-1. As covering that one up in the left glove was Garvey. And we will redo this offensive zone draw for Odessa near side. As for the Rhinos, as the away team, they are 4-2. Still have yet to have their home opening weekend, which will take place on October 21st and the 22nd next weekend against the Lone Star Brahmas, the same team that swept them 2 weeks ago and shut them out their last game. So as that one's airmailed into that left corner, jabbed forward on the stick of number 9, Amici, who fires one rink wide to Justice. And turns away, sends it back over to O'Neal, and he loses the puck over to Hughes. Hughes has it, right circle. Hughes fires one, puck is loose, he scores! It's in the back of the net, it trickled over the goal line and trying to save it. Desperation was Garvey. Justin Hughes ties the game, 1-1. And they get some puck luck on their side. They had numbers going the other way. It was a turnover from number 10, Donovan O'Neal, at the top of the left point in the Jack zone. And Hughes never looked to pass, wanted to shoot the whole way. Garvey got a little piece of it, but not enough to keep it out. And it went just enough over the goal line. Again, he made the attempt to try to keep it out. But even I could see a little bit of that white ice between the puck and that goal line. So it's a 1-1 game. 13:08 remains in period number 2. Shots separated by 3, with El Paso leading at 16. And tons of carrots thrown onto the ice for the first time this season. Well, as we get ready for the last Carrot crew member to make his way off the ice and behind Garvey, who just let in the Jackalopes' first goal. And the first one here at the Jack Shack of the 2022-23 campaign. Justin Hughes gets career goal number 10 for the Montvale, New Jersey native. 23 points last season for Odessa. And now some momentum possibly building for Odessa as they get the home crowd involved. J.R. Perning with the helper on Hughes' goal. Marshall tries to force it. Marshall, high slot, lab circle. They wait. Saved by Garvey. Angier with it. Whips one home. And that one saved in the butterfly by Garvey. And there was a cross-jack thrown by Max Matthews, and his own stick ended up hitting his netminder, and then he got more upset with a jackalope thereafter. 12:30 left to go here in period number 2. They're readjusting the post and behind Garvey, as it will be off to his right-hand side. Offensive zone draw, one back by Odessa. Boak fakes it. He's above the left circle. They fire one, and getting a piece of it momentarily was Begier, but not enough to beat Garvey. They keep it in. Mansfield settles it down. Wheelan fires it through the traffic as it went between the circles and back up top to Boak, who will send it deep. 8 minutes into this period number 2. One goal has been scored in this period, as that one glances off the glove of Garvey, but stayed wide. And that was recently scored by Justin Hughes. Boak twirls one over to Jack Christian, who's unable to settle it, and getting another pass off to another player in white and pink, as that one's redirected high and almost settled down by Oroz, but actually picked up in that left dot, right to Kelly. They're onside. Kelly high slot. And a big blown up hit from Mansfield. And see level number 28, Zev Podolsky. And bodies were coming together a lot back in period number 1. Won't have enough steam to go for icing with 11:15 left to go in this period. Another hit thrown near side. And once more right in front of the Rhinos penalty box. Lead pass for Horrid. He's onside. Horrid has help. Backhand broken up by number 6, Jacob Zarecki. You can tell the Jacks are feeding off of this hometown crowd now that it's a 1-1 hockey game. Stacy. Nice pass across, has off the boot of Gantz, and it's snapped deep by Mitchell. As that puck glides into the near side corner. Up top for Stacy. Stacy fires one, a kneeling block shot. Back over for good, he scores! With his family in attendance, but he's down. He's down after the play. And it's 10:33 left to go in period number 2 of a 2-1 hockey game. Emerson Good, right after he scored the goal, he got leveled. And tied shots now 16 apiece. What a wrister from Emerson Good, who recently has been my player to watch. But this week it's Begier and Cosman. But Good now extends it onto a 3-game point streak and the 5th goal this season for the California native. As his dad came back up here, he was celebrated, pointed right at me, but I didn't believe quite saw what happened to his son. It was the moment he had basically take that shot. And it was a finishing hit from a Rhino player. Good to see Emerson Good get back up on his power, his own willpower. Now we have a 2-1 hockey game here from the Ector County Coliseum. In front of, again, a very large, possibly the largest home opener night in NAHL history, as that one's gloved by Garvey and not played out. 10:22 left to go in the second. Emerson Good can really pick his placement. He did so last year as well in his rookie season. He is committed to Ferris State University. Finished last year again 8th in scoring, 6th among rookies, tied for 3rd in power play assists with 5. But the 19-year-old who turns 20 in just 2 days, what an early birthday present for him. Again, with his family in attendance. much like many other Jackalopes. As that one goes up and out of play for a whistle. 10-15 left to go in this middle frame. From the ensuing draw, again, it was one of those shots from that circle back in period number 1 that beat Oros. As Amici leaves it for Cosman, left side, kick saved by Oros as it's now recovered down low by J.R. Purdy, who kicks it to his blade, leaves it back behind him for some defense between Mitchell and Stacy. As Armijo's trying to fight along that far side past the halfway point here in this hockey game. As the Jackalopes started period number 2, trailing 1-0. And good footwork by Mitchell to get it all the way out to the red line. However, sending it the other way was Mason Kelly. Mason Kelly, number 19 for El Paso. Ryan Kelly, number 18 for the Jacks. And covering that one just to the side of his crease is Ordos. And he'll get the whistle. Jackalopes were trailing after 20 minutes in shots. They've pulled within 1. It was briefly tied for a moment at 16 apiece. It's now 18-17 in favor of El Paso. And it looks like we'll have ourselves immediate timeout. Just under 9:30 left to go here in period number 2 of a 2-1 hockey game. Jackalopes have now tied their first period scoring production, as they've gotten 2 in period number 2 to give them 8 so far this season.
If you have a gray metallic GMC license plate RFL 98885.
The shots through 20 minutes were 12-7 in favor of the visiting El Paso Rhinos, who jumped all over Odessa early on, enough to produce the game's opening goal. And were really increasing time on attack as each second went down from the start. They did take that 5-minute major, didn't give up a goal, so big penalty kill unit success for the visiting team, who has been struggling. Again, they sit 26 out of 29 on the PK at only 66.7%. They've allowed 8 goals, well now 25 times shorthanded. As that one's kept in, top of the left point by German, and eventually played out by Kedlasick as he gets it deep for a dumping chase as he goes right back after Nick Justice in behind Garvey. Knives right over to number 16, Tristan Kimmin, before it's touched between the legs of Amici and over to Kelly. Or actually, I should say number 8, A.J. Reed. Held up against the end boards is Justice, played out by Odessa. Marshall snaps one right to the tape of Finn. Finn left side now. He's got a man out in front. They get it right to the stick of Boak. He was unable to redirect it home. Marshall smartly knifes it over to the left side, but hacking it out was Justice. And some bodies coming together right in front of Odessa's bench as changes are being made on the fly with 8:25 left to go here in period number 2. A shot from the left circle, saved in the glove by Ordos. Off the stick of Jacob Zarecki. And that will bring us Rhinos offensive zone draw near side circle. Rhinos entered this game with 18 goals and 20 goals against. And Jackalopes had 17 goals for and 29 goals against. And last year they finished at 0 with 193, which was a franchise record. And 193 against, as kicking it to his blade is Cosman. Cosman, long wheel around from left to right. Finally turns the puck over to a teammate. And as they bring it to a high slot, shot hit the bodies in front And the settling puck is finally picked up by Ryan Kelly. Bezier slides it across. Left side, they fire one. Redirects. That came from Mansfield's stick. Mansfield sends it back up top. A good pickup from the logo by Stacy. Has to watch Bezier tag back up. Stacy fires one. Puck is loose. And that one hits off the far side post. Second post hit this evening by Odessa. A block shot out in front, stinging number 23, Max Matthews, who has to remain out on the ice as the puck is in his zone. Gans picks it up, feeds it across, and that one just glances off the near side iron. Might have potentially hit that glove of Garvey, who made a remarkable save already this game, but has certainly stood on his head. Has a record of 4-2, as that one's pushed forward by Gans. No icing will be called. Under 7 left to go here in period number 2. Unable to shovel it deep was Jack Christian. And backhanding that one was Troutwine. Both. Right back over to Gans. Left circle. Forward pass to Hoyer. Hoyer's got good with him. The latest goal scorer in this hockey game. Good to see him back out there after he was dropped immediately after shooting that one that wound up past Garvey. El Paso with it. Off the near side boards. Players coming together. Hughes won the board battle for Odessa. J.R. Pernian gets it. Sends it across. They score! Adam Armillo with his family in attendance. He got to his second in his rookie season. 6:08 to play here in the second. It is a 3-1 hockey game from the Jack Shack and 3 unanswered. We have new goal graphics for all the players, so make sure you're checking that out. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram as well, and Twitter. Twitter, Facebook for the goal gifts, and Instagram, of course, for more stuff throughout the intermission of play. It was a first period heavily dominated by El Paso, but the Jackalopes feeding off the energy of the hometown crowd, getting back into it. Unsuccessful in the 5-minute major, which is something I'm sure head coach and assistant coach for the Jackalopes, Scott Doerr and Chris Francis, respectively, are going to be talking about in practice coming up after this weekend series, as that major's in the past, and of course you can only go forward from there, as Orderos will cover that one up as it was gliding right towards his crease. But they're now leading in shots 21-19, and they're up 3-1 where it matters on the score sheet against the team they went 5-3 against last season. And the last time these two teams played one another, again, right back here in Odessa, Texas. It was an 8-2 final in favor of your Jackalopes. It was the most goals they've scored all season. But again, this is a different Rhino squad. Already a third of the way to their win total from last season in their inaugural year. New head coaching staff, as that one smothered by Orderos and a little pushing and shoving afterwards. And I'm not sure if much is going to come of that. Oh, and it looks like it will. They're going to send a Rhino player to the penalty box. It's going to be number 16, Tristan Kemen. And another Jersey Mike Power playing for your Jackalopes. This time, 2 minutes with 5:57 left to go in the second. Yeah, the whistle's been very quiet from the referee, other than, again, that major, which was kind of confusing me even from my end of things. It was a head contact call. Sawyer Bolton did not get a game misconduct, just that 5-minute major. And came back to play and still is playing. With a recent call against number 16 in black. Stacy sends it over to Bo. Right back to Stacy. They switch sides. Stacy from the Bud Light logo. Sweeps it over. 3 unanswered for Odessa. They're looking for a power play goal. Stacy fires one standing save by Garvey. And a slashing call against number 16. From the ensuing draw, near side circle. Picked up by Odessa. That one's unable to be kept in by Stacy as it hopped right over his blade and back to retreat. Odessa has it, right circle, good with it again from where he scored earlier. Passes it off. Boak leaves it for Stacy. Boak back to Stacy. They send it below the goal line. No shooting opportunity there as they dish it back up top. Stacy now. Stacy with a centering shot. Ricochets off a stick. Picked up below the goal line and brushed back up top to Boak. Boak with it. Under 5 to play here in period number 2. Below the goal line. Trying to force it out are the Jacks, and it's cleared out by El Paso. .430 left to go here in period number 2. They are keeping track of everything on the official paper for the off-ice officials. Just a little scoreboard bug right now. The main clock is going, just the power plays are not. As that one's kept in by Mansfield. Sent right over to Wojciechowski. Stick tapping is Ordos, but the time for when Kimming can get out is unknown. As that one sails up and out of play with 3:56 left to go in the second. And now they put Kimming out of the box.
Setting the standard for dental care in the Permian Basin. Visit Dr. Joshua Corbin and his staff at Gold Standard Family Dental for your dentistry needs.
Shots are 22-20 in favor of the Jacks. It's an offensive zone draw. Near side circle off to the glove hand of Garvey. That was Mason Kelly against Kedlasick. Marshall with it. He fires one and a pillow save from Garvey. As that one redirects. Settled down by Ordos. Vardy wheels it around to the far side. Picked up in that left circle by Vardy and sent forward. Trying to force it home to a waiting number 10 in white and pink. That was Marshall. He was unable to gather it. And back to Mitchell, it's played. Mitchell sends it forward. Wrapped right off the blade of Finn and deep. So no icing is called with 3:15 to play here in the second. Odessa 0 for 2 on the man advantages so far, but that has been something that has been plaguing them early into this season. Still plenty of hockey left for them to get that groove going, as getting a piece of that is Ordos. As it's sent right off the referee far side and flipped out by Odessa. Picked up by Marshall off a neutral zone turnover. And he'll just opt for a dumping change as new skaters are coming on in white and pink jerseys. Honor Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's the only home games this month for Odessa, as a good intercept by Good, who will keep it and fire it forward. Trying to drop the shoulder was Christian, who ran out of real estate as he cut in from right to left. They're still trying to fight for it on the far side. Gans goes up against the opposition, and Good throws his body weight around on number 14 in black. That was Michael English. Softly played forward to Hoyer. The Army commit now leaves it for Gans. Gans fires into open ice far side. 2:15 left to go in period number 2. As Anichi thrown off the puck by a Jackalope player. Comes loose for El Paso as it's snapped forward by Tefelsky. We are 18 minutes into period number 2. It's been all Odessa here. However, backhand shot saved by Ordos. 24-21 now in shots in favor of the Jacks. They're up by 3 on the shots, up by 2 on the score sheet. 3 unanswered here for Odessa. They fire another one. Saved, rebounds there, tangled up. It's going to be a penalty against Odessa. And hooking is called, as it's going to be a power play for the Rhinos. Guilty party, Justin Hughes. And again, he didn't really have too many options there above Ordos' crease. And he negated a scoring opportunity from the Rhinos, but he does put his team down by 1. 1:50 left to go in this second period. It's a 2-minute power play for the Rhinos. They don't convert. 10 seconds of man advantage time is what they will have to start the final period of regulation. Again, the first meeting of 8 between these two teams that will extend into the second half of the season, unlike last year, where all 8 were played in the first 30 games. The puck sits top of the right circle and dumped out by Odessa's number 5, Lemuel Vardy. Cosman picks it up. Cosman drops it. Finn rubs his man off the puck. And it's recovered below the goal line by Reed. AJ Reed loses it. Trying to kick it out are the Jacks, and they're able to rifle it off the glass thanks to William Marshall. Further from the benches, they are from their own zone, but they are successful in getting new legs onto the ice for this Kenner Printing penalty kill. 1:15 left to go in the second. Rhinos also got some fresh legs on this power play. Their power play ranking 25th across the NAHL, 3 goals, 4 on 26 opportunities. Again, mirror images between this power play and penalty kill for both teams, both having success recently on PK, but still struggling on the power play as we are under 60 seconds left of power play time here in this second period. Again, 10 seconds will carry over as we're in the final minute of this middle frame. With it below is O'Neal, who won that rock, paper, scissors against Stacy, who saw him cross his side of line. And settled in the left circle, batted to the dasher boards on the near side. And it's recovered by Stacy. Fed over to Gans. Gans unable to get it forward, and it's knifed away from him, from Jacob German. And grabbing hold of that one and launching that one deep was Mitchell, the 6'4", 190-pound Michigan native, as Garvey dangerously comes out to play that around. Good stick-on puck from Marshall. Marshall, lone man in, curls and fires one, saved, and that one just as the horn sounds to end period number 2. Good luck there from the Missouri native. Uses out of the box to rejoin his team as they skate back to the locker room for the second period intermission. As your Jackalopes pour on 3 goals in period number 2 to set a new season high for them. Not only that, but just goals in a period in general, as they put up 3 straight on El Paso. Well, again, 10 seconds of power play time will carry over into the final period for the Rhinos. It is a 3-1 Jackalopes lead here in their home opening debut. Again, tomorrow, game number 2, 7:15 p.m., a jersey auction to follow Pink the Basin night. We are so pleased to be partnering with them, and of course going off of that, proceeds benefiting them and will remain in the Permian Basin, which we love to hear. A large support from the Odessa fan base and even probably beyond in Midland, and of course players' parents coming from all over the U.S. and beyond to see their sons play here at the Tier 2 junior level. This is a great showing of support for the Jackalopes. Again, they came off last season finishing in 5th place, 1 place away from reaching the playoffs, something they haven't done since 2017-2018. They would love to get back there, and that was the only goal head coach Scott Dewar talked about to the press going into some of these weekends when we do press conferences towards the start of the week. Coming off of a weekend series and going into another, that was one of the things he was driving home about. He wants the playoffs more than anything else. He's been there before with the dominance that the Fairbanks Ice Dogs have always had in their franchise's history. He has a Robertson Cup under his belt. Then he got in his 2nd year of coaching with the Ice Dogs way back in 2016. And that, again, is a very dangerous team to always keep an eye on. But coaching staff of Scott Dewar and Chris Francis, again, want to make it past 60 games. They want to be able to bring playoff hockey here to the Jack Shack, to the great fans of Odessa, Texas. That's something that they have been harping on all summer long, trying to get the right pieces to do so. It is one of the toughest divisions to play in, and you saw it last year. The Jackalopes were in a playoff spot officially from October to March, and it just slipped right out of their fingertips right at the tail end, and teams that were getting hot were Shreveport, and they ended up passing them again right at the end. Shreveport swept the Jacks in one of their final weekend series of that 2021-22 season. And Odessa got off to a hot start last year. They were the first team to 10 wins, and again, being in a playoff spot for that long, it really wasn't a big factor or too much on their mind, especially in the first half, but the second half did get away from them a little bit. They hit that 6-game losing streak. They hit one this season, have already gotten past that hump by winning last Saturday by a score of 4-1 against the Shreveport Mudbugs to split that weekend series and the season series, as it was the first 2 games against one another. They were able to snap the 6-game losing streak, get their 2nd win of the season, giving them a 2-5-1 record, tying Corpus Christi for current 7th place in the South. A good performance here this weekend. Won't be able to move them up any further than 6, but it could put them 1 point behind El Paso, who sits at 10 points. And that could be huge going into 2 big weekends to end the month of October. A very dangerous Wranglers team that's already 6-0. And the Lone Star Brahmas, who sit atop the South Division. If you are a fan of the Jackalopes and you are around one of those cities, or you love to travel and drive throughout the Lone Star State, we encourage you to come support the Jacks on the road. We love trying to make it feel like a home game when we're away from the wonderful Ector County Coliseum. And we'll certainly need a lot of Jackalopes cheering going on for that matchup at the end of this month against the Lone Star Brahmas. The Jackalopes haven't won there in quite some time. And we all know that history last year. They were so close last season, a lot of overtime and shootout performances between those 2 South Division rivals. Even here on the Jackalopes home opening weekend, that went 3 games, and the Jackalopes finally won on that final game. But there were very nail-biter games between those 2 teams, a lot finishing separated by 1 goal. I'm expecting more of the same in just a few weeks in Dallas-Fort Worth over at the NYTEX, or North Richland Hills, I should say, at the NYTEX Sports Center. Well, again, I'm going to step aside, get ready for period number 3 as your Jackalopes lead the El Paso Rhinos by a score of 3-1. Welcome back into the broadcast here on Hockey TV and the audio-only feed over on the Jackalopes YouTube live channel. There's 10 seconds remaining of power play time for the Rhinos. Not a lot to really kind of make much of it. However, if they get into the attacking zone, even with Hughes hopping out, they'll have maybe about 2 seconds before he's able to get into the zone just off to his right-hand side. But the Jackalopes are going to try to play it forward. They win the third period first draw as they rifle it off the glass and deep. As there's just now 2 seconds left. The clock is working this time as we have things figured out here from the scoreboard side of things. Again, it's first time using it this weekend. So there, of course, are going to be some minor bugs and adjustments to it as J.R. Purney is unable to poke check it away from the opposition as it's sent to Reed near side. Long stretch pass, and they try to go near side to Kelly, and too much heat behind that as Varney will pick it up. Jab it forward. J.R. Purney off the boards to himself. Touched over to Hughes, who puts it between his legs. Hughes leaves it right at the top of the crease, but angled away from an opportunity was Odessa, as that one steered aside by Oros. Sent all the way right towards Armijo, who had his second NHL goal back in period number 2. Got his first in his home state of Albuquerque, New Mexico, as that one is caught off as Mansfield's after it up against Nick Justice. Players coming together on that far side. Board battled one by El Paso. They get it as far as the blue line, and the Jacks rifle it deep. Left circle, and Mansfield unable to pull the trigger, handcuffed himself, and now numbers going the other way for the Rhinos. Justice feeds it over to Amici, offside is called. They potentially could have had a 4-on-2, that trailing fourth Rhino player losing a little bit of momentum going north, but it was a 3-on-2. 18:30 left to go in the third. It's a 3-1 Jacks lead. Odessa has it from their own zone. Boak sends it across. Right off the tape of Good. Good patiently with it. Fires one off the end boards all the way over to the far side at Karams, where it's jabbed up top to Jack Christian. Sauces it off the wall. And a feeder pass over to Boak, too far ahead of him. He'll play it around for the Army commit Dane Hoyard, and a long-time Jackalope player. LaFrance, the lone goal scorer for the Rhinos. Tried to force it home along that far side. Tried to go short side on Odoros and was denied. LaFrance with it again. Twisting and turning with it near side wall. He's muscled off the puck. Good brings it out from the dasher boards as he dances with it all the way to the far side before getting it deep. Wojciechowski fires it into the attacking zone. Kept in by Varney. Top of the right point only momentarily as it's through the logo. Back over to Finn, near side. Frozen rubber settled down by Zareki. And retrieved in the neutral zone by El Paso. They stay on side as there was a collision between Kosman and Varney, and now the Jackalopes have it. Wojciechowski sends it down the right wing. One side is Odessa as Marshall's trying to find it underneath a Rhino player, and El Paso surges the other way. They have one man in, and he is forced off the puck as it snapped near side to Kedlasick. He gets some air underneath of that and turns back to the bench for a line change. 16:45 left to go in the third of a 3-1 hockey game. And 3 unanswered goals, all in period number 2. The most in a period this season by Odessa. Mitchell with it. In behind his own netminder. Puck comes loose in the near side circle. Finn brushes it forward as now Hughes tries to enter into the offensive zone. Lost a hand on it and back out to center ice it will go. As the trickling puck is settled down by Hughes. And once again played over to a Rhino. That's Tristan Kimmin. Kimmin for a dumping chase. After it near side corner. Recovered by Odessa. As it's shoveled around to the far side. J.R. Purdy with it now, right side. As Mitchell brings it out, he goes zone to zone, fires one, and well above his crease is Garvey for a halt to play. Making the 6-foot, 160 netminder look a lot bigger as he came out well above the top of the blue paint with just over 4 minutes gone in period number 3. Again, new merchandise in the merchandise stand over on the concourse, over on that east side. And we'll be swapping out throughout all home stands here for the Jacks. Make sure you check it every single time you come to the Jack Shack, as Mansfield almost able to pick that up for a breakaway. It was wobbling too much for him, as now it's tracked down and settled by Justice. Playing off a teammate's stick, that was Tefelsky, and D-to-D near side for Boak. Boak finds a teammate in Mansfield from the neutral zone. He's being pressured and sends it right back to the defense. And good maneuvering by Jack Christian to avoid the opposition. Odessa enters, they fire one, sticked into the corner by Garvey. A shot, rebounds loose, just to the side, it's in the crease and somehow stayed out once again. As that one goes up and out of play. 15:04 left to go in regulation, 3-1 Jacks. Ryan Kelly. Another opportunity for him just goes awry. He was on the far side post. Wiped out as Garvey wiped out in the process as well. And he was unable to tuck it on the short side of Garvey's glove side, his left, our right. As that one awkwardly catches a piece on the board on the far side and kicks out where it's in Odessa's zone. Settled by Adam. That is Thomas Adam. Odessa patiently with it and behind their own end. A forward pass to Gans. Rolls right off the tape of his blade. Kosman backhands it into the enemy zone. Keeps it in with his glove, and it's kicked out by Good. Settled down by Wojciechowski. And he hits a lead pass. However, a pass across the Good, null and void from Dane Hoyard. That would have been a beautiful move. Good deke by Good as he retreats with it over on the far side, loses the handle eventually, and it's possessed by El Paso. As Gans applying all sorts of pressure on the opposition, Bolton. And it's cleared out by El Paso. No icing is called. Played to the half boards. And a shot from the goal line, fought off by Oros. 13:45 left to play here in regulation. Time certainly on the side of the Jackalopes as they are playing with a 2-goal lead as Finn has it far side. Finn fires one, catches the glass on the near side. It's still in the Rhino zone. Kadlisic overskated it, couldn't get a shot off, and it's poke checked back out to the neutral zone by Matthews. Matthews after it for El Paso. They turn it over far side corner. However, they aren't able to force it on out. Back over to Kimmett, who's at the end of his shift and will lob it deep. 7 minutes in to period number 3. The goals have been scored so far in this final period. It is only separated by 2 goals. And the Jacks possibly maybe an insurance goal just to feel a little bit better, as that one is a block shot out in front from Vardy. Off of the lone goal scorer from El Paso, LaFrance. Kicks off the end boards in behind Ordos. Vart sends it over right side. And it's picked up by El Paso and spun deep. Around the yellow trim it will roll. Near side and almost flipped out by Vardy. And with some help, they get it as far as the red line before it's rifled back deep by El Paso. Wojciechowski pivots. And gets around 2 before Hughes' forward pass. As he sends it into a lot of open ice on the far side. New legs coming onto the ice for Odessa. Back to retreat with it is Mitchell as he grabs a hold of it in behind Ordos. Sent near side to Stacy. I have not seen Arneson, and again, he took that big hit and period number 1, and I don't expect to see anything or see any more of him, maybe even tomorrow as well. Hopefully he is okay. He did get back up on his own 2 skates and escorted himself back to his own locker room. I'm sure has been given some medical attention. Again, he was assisted by a trainer out on the ice. Mansfield from the red line, now the blue. He has support in behind him, trying to leave it for Kelly. They had Begier in the slot, couldn't feed it to him, and sits directly behind the apron where it's finally gathered by El Paso and sent to the left wing. Good stick check by Odessa. That was from number 29, Nate Boak. Sent right over to Mansfield, kept in by Kimmon. Sent across, and breaking his stick on a one-timer was Fedorov. Right wing now. Jacks burst the speed, led on by Jack Christian. Offside is Odessa. Under 11 minutes go here in the third. Kimmon with it. Kimmon, right circle, kick, save, rebound, they score. A.J. Reed pounces on a rebound. And it is now a 3-2 hockey game here from the Jack Shack. Now it's a 1-goal game once again. This time the Jacks favoring it. As period number 1 ended in favor of the Rhinos by a score of 1-0, and icing is called. That was a shot from Kimmon from the right circle. It was a kick saved by Odoros, and quickly after that, picked up by A.J. Reed all alone on the left side, and he had the entire 4x6 to place that vulcanized rubber to pull his team within 1 here in the final period of regulation. Wojciechowski keeps it in, top of left point. Battles it off the glass in behind Garvey, where it's knifed back over to the left side. Brought out and played to the penalty box boards by El Paso. Kimmon right back after it, as is A.J. Reed, the latest goal scorer in tonight's contest. As we are halfway into the third period. Good with it. Sends it to open ice. Vardy smartly plays it out to the neutral zone. El Paso will pick it up. With it now is Amici, and his shot ramps off a stick and out of play.
The West Texas Radio is your choice to hear today's hottest hits, whether it's Kicks 99.1, 97 Gold.
Well, when leading after 2 periods, the Jacks are 1-0. And when trailing after 2, the Rhinos are 1-2. Shots right now in favor of Odessa, 30-26. Looks like we're going to go to immediate timeout with 9:45 remaining here in regulation. Again, you're watching Odessa Jackalopes hockey on Hockey TV.
Tomorrow night after the game and help raise money for Pink in the Basin. All proceeds go to Pink in the Basin and stay in the Permian Basin for breast cancer research. Are you looking for equipment, tool rentals?
So we have a 3-2 score here in the final period of regulation. 9:45 left to go at this media timeout, as coaches from both teams are able to discuss with their players, and not only that, but of course the 5 on the ice, the 3 forwards, 2 defensemen. As this draw will be in the Jackalope zone, far side circle off to the blocker side of Oros, who is 1-1 in his Jackalopes season so far. Again, came from the Aberdeen Wings last season, where he went 8-7-1, had 2 shutouts, a goals against average of 2.76 and a .906 save percentage. The save percentage already is upwards of .958, I believe, is what it started at today. And that one trickles all the way to the top of the right point. Backhanded, and Jumping to make that left glove save is Garvey. So offensive zone draw to come for your Odessa Jackalopes.
American is your leading source for local news, information, and entertainment and sports coverage. The Permian Basin.
Draw off to the blocker side of Garvey, his right, our left. One back by Odessa, sent to the blue line. Mitchell looks for a redirect, doesn't get it. And it's spun around the horseshoe by Finn, all the way to the far side. It's hacked at by O'Neal. Backhanded over to Finn. He gets some real estate. Finn left side, handcuffed, and he couldn't pull a trigger. Mitchell keeps it in, top of left point. Banks off the end boards. Possessing it is Matthews. He gets as far as the half wall before they look to change direction with it now near side. Slapped up top. Boak feeds it to Hughes, and he tried to elevate it high. And there's a Rhino player down in the zone. And I'm not sure what this was from, but this was immediately after that Hughes' shot. A Rhino player dropped immediately down to the ice. And see a hit on, I believe that's number 10, who gets right back up. And it is O'Neal, number 10, who's back to the bench. And I'm not sure if Hughes' stick caught him when he kind of lifted it up for a shot, but on shooting motions, again, they're not going to call high sticking or anything like that, but it didn't look like O'Neal was pointed to his face. He still continue on with 5-on-5 hockey. Again, only 2 power plays for Odessa here this evening. 1 for the Rhinos. Neither team converted on their man advantages. 8:35 left to go in the third. Time still on the Jackalope side, but again, they need one more for some breathing room. Garvey comes out the plate behind his own net. Jack Christian pinches up. Armijo with one of the 3 Jackalopes goals. Again, he's got family in attendance as he's trying to fight for it in behind Garvey. Comes loose within. And a shot deflects back up top. Blue line now with it. They send it high slot, and that one whistles just past the left glove of Garvey from Hughes. Hughes tried to leave it down low for J.R. Purdy and couldn't get to it. And this line of J.R., Adam Armijo, and Justin Hughes. And got 2 of the 3 Jackalopes goals. Hughes with it. Cuts in from left to right. Hughes right circle. Shoots! And that one bounces off the outside of the net. Armijo looking for it, and it's off to the right-hand side before it's pitchforked up to the blue line. Kept in momentarily by Varney. Before it's cleared from zone to zone by El Paso. 7:30 left to go here in period number 3. A very closely contested hockey game here for the season debut, and a one-timer kneeling shot from JR, fought off by Garvey. A good pass from Ryan Kelly as he was below the goal line and fed it right back to the Ohio native. Now a log jam ensues in below the goal line near side 1 by El Paso. They sweep it all the way up top. And getting upended is Mansfield, so penalty upcoming against El Paso. Stripping is called. Guilty party, number 19, Mason Kelly. Now this is an opportunity for the Jacks. I know they've struggled so far this season. And their power play wasn't the best of the 2 last year. It was definitely the penalty kill with all those shorthanded goals that Tallene and Duclair and Mike Manzo scored. All 3 of those players not with the Jacks again due to age outs and, of course, going on to play USHL hockey and beyond. They win the ensuing draw. 5-on-4, Jersey Mike power play for Odessa. They are up 3-2. Hughes over to Wojciechowski. He walks the blue line. Top of the right circle. They fire one. That one banks off the glass in behind Garvey. Hughes settles in. Tries to send it deep. Wojciechowski gets it over. Back up top to Wojciechowski. He walks that blue line so cautiously as they feed it back to the right circle. A shot. Rebounds loose through the crease. Picked up by El Paso and kept in by Wojciechowski. 6:20 left to go. They fire one. Rebounds loose. Backhanded just wide as Garvey again is sprawled out in his crease. Up top, they send it again. Wojciechowski for this Jersey Mike power play. They snap one. Elevates high and wide. That has 1:10 left on it. Back over to Wojciechowski. Now far side. They want it in the slot. Don't get it. Hughes head fakes. Hughes with it. Top of the left point. Patient with it. Now over to Wojciechowski, the quarterback of this power play. Sends it right circle. They look for a kneeling one-timer in the right circle, and Kelly unable to find the back of the net as it caromed off of a piece of equipment and back down with 5:40 left to go in the third. Again, still time on the side of the Jackalopes. 35 seconds left of power play time, as this is just their 35th man advantage this season. Only 3 power play goals to show for it. Boak twists one back over to Stacy. Stacy sauces it. Good gives chase as he goes toe-to-toe with Zarecki. It's fired around and dug out by O'Neal. It's good to see him out there after taking that awkward spill following that Justin Hughes' shot. Stick tapping is Orderos. It's about to hop out is Mason Kelly of El Paso. And they turn it over. And now for a breakaway. LaFrance trying to back check is Stacy. And he gets the puck away from him. And the net is knocked off its pegs. Great backpedaling play by the Toledo, Ohio native. Number 23 getting the better of number 22 in black and orange to keep this a 3-2 Jacks lead. 4:50 left to go here in the third. Back to 5-on-5 hockey we go. What is a tremendous crowd on hand tonight. Hopefully we see even more tomorrow. Again, Permian playing a big rivalry game tonight. But tomorrow, puck drop, 7:15 for the conclusion of this weekend series. Hustling after it is J.R. Pernian. It's good in the slot and a pass across. Broken up from El Paso. The Rhinos bring it out down that right wall. And offside is called as a step ahead of the play was Tilfelski as Podolski was just behind him. 4:34 remains in the third. Again, thanks for tuning in on Hockey TV. It's a neutral zone drop. Right in front of us here is linesman Jacob Rosenberg gets ready to drop the puck to resume play here in the final period of regulation. Finn trying to track it. Lots of sticks and skates in the way. Marshall spins it back to the defense as they play catch. Mitchell snaps it right to Marshall. Doesn't get his blade on it, and icing is called. 33 shots for the Jacks, 27 for El Paso. Well, the Jackalopes had the Big 2 News out here today doing their live shoot from inside the rink over by section JJ and KK. A shot glances off the glove of Orderos and into the safety netting for a whistle with 4:17 left to go in the third. One of the Rhinos' goals came immediately off of that face-off all the way back in period number 1. That was scored by Mark LaFrance. Jackalopes certainly have to keep their eye on that, and as time gets closer towards the end of regulation, you got to think head coach Joe Coombs might be pulling Garvey in a few minutes, and the Jackalopes have been on the receiving end of a lot of empty net goals. As we all know, head coach Scott Dewar likes to pull his netminder and try to see what his team can do on 6-on-5, but in a one-goal game, you're going to have to do it. They fire one, saved by Orderos enough to push it over to the near side boards. Picked up by Kedlacek. Golf swing at it enough to get it over to Finn, who tries to twirl it out, and it's launched into the left corner. Still hemmed in their own zone are the Jacks. Marshall picks it up, sends it over to Finn, and they are able to force it out. They get it to the red line and turn it over. El Paso enters. A shot, rebound, save, and 2 big saves from the Hungarian netminder, as Odessa is able to clear from their own zone. They have a 3-2 lead with 3:30 left to go in the third. No icing is called as Varney picks it up, sweeps it over to the near side. El Paso getting some momentum here late as they keep it in from Matthews, top of the right point. Wojciechowski rattles it off the glass all the way down and just misses Garvey's net, so icing is called with 3:12 left to go in the third. The scoring production period for the Jacks in period number 3 specifically, -8 in goal differential. 3 goals for, 11 goals against. That is tied for the second worst in the North American Hockey League. Again, the Rhinos have that second worst. It looks like they are trying to draw Hughes into a fight as that shot was saved by Odessa. That was Zev Podolski trying to challenge the New Jersey native. Armijo feeds it back over. A shot. He scores! J.R. Perdian puts the Jacks back up by a pair with just under 3 minutes left in regulation. 4-2 Odessa. And that was the insurance this Jackalope squad needed. Now they get breathing room. 2:51 left to go here in the third, up by 2. Again, still potential for the Rhinos to pull their netminder. And for Jacks to be, for once, on the receiving end of a 5-2 victory. They've had 3 losses by that margin. And again, with those coming via empty net. J.R. Perdian, the Ohio native, getting career goal number 27 and his 109th NAHL game. Shots are 34-31 in favor of your Odessa Jackalopes here on their home opening night. And the Jacks are 8-12-0-5 in the history of their home opening weekends. The Rhinos hosted the Jacks last season for their inaugural home opening weekend, and the Jacks won both games. Again, last season, the season series favored Odessa by 5-3. There were some games there in December where the Rhinos were starting to get some steam, but last time these two teams played one another, 8-2 victory for Odessa. They currently lead 4-2 with 2:51 to play here in the third. Goals have been coming from everybody on the Jackalopes so far. Justin Hughes, Emerson Good, Adam Armijo, all in period number 2. And now J.R. Perdian getting the third period goal of the season for the Jacks. As they are 2 minutes and 51 seconds away from winning their first home game of the season, and to do so in a true home fashion. Again, the other 2 home games played at the NAHL Showcase in Blaine, Minnesota. I'll keep my eye on Hunter Garvey off on my left-hand side as that one caroms into the Jackalopes bench for a whistle. And they'll redo this at center ice. Again, this is Greg Ordero's 3rd straight start with a 1-1 record. And he has now seen over 30 shots at least in all 3 games. Has made over 30 saves both times. Rhinos sitting at 31 shots right now. So just high 20 save night for the Hungarian netminder. And Jacks again still up by 2. But there is enough time for the Rhinos to try to come back, especially with that netminder that they potentially could pull in a little bit as Armijo chops it out of his own zone. Some players remaining on the ice for Odessa realizing they're entering back in where the Rhinos Zarenki as we approach 2 minutes left to go here in regulation. It's in behind Orderos and almost played right back out. Sent up but not out. And that one will roll on its edge, and just unable to keep it in for the Rhinos was Zurecki. Boak having trouble playing with it. Far side, it's off to his right hand, and it's spun around to the near side. Skating it out is Mansfield. And a right circle shot saved by Garvey. That was off the stick of number 28, Tanyan Begier, as it bounces back for Mitchell. Mitchell fires it across to Stacy. O'Neal twirls it left circle. Shot saved by Ordos. Rebounds there. Another save. Oh, put that one on the highlight reel. 1:17 left to go in the third. And shots are getting pretty close for both sides, separated by 2 in goals and shots, both favoring the Jacks. 1:17 left to go in the third. Garvey still between the pipes. Draw near side. One by Odessa will rattle it off the stanchion. It kicks and back out into the Rhino zone as they force it over to English. Icing is called against El Paso. 65 seconds left to go in the third. Tomorrow, 7:15 p.m., Pink the Basin night. Make sure you wear your pink and a post-game jersey auction over by the concourse to honor Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's the only home games of the month of October for Odessa. And then the next home series, November 11th and the 12th, right back here at the Jack Shack. And again, against El Paso, as they forced it across, and getting enough of it to keep it out was Orderos, and even some help from Dane Hoyer. Stacy pirouettes from danger. Stacy far side, good saucer pass to the tape of Good. He's got options to his right. Good streaks in. They're on side. Unfortunately, however, Gans was a step ahead, and the linesman, Sean Round, says otherwise. 39 seconds remains here in period number 3, as Garvey still between the pipes. Well, the Jacks didn't win home opener night last season when they played that 3-3 against the Lone Star Brahmas. They did win on that final game, as Odessa's looking for more. They want that 5-2 victory. It's currently 4-2. Played off that bench. Wojciechowski has it. Tries to muscle it out to the neutral zone. Ricochets back into his own end as it's picked up and snapped around to the near side. Adam with it. Adam sidesteps around Kidlisic, leads it. Shot broken up between the circles and lobbed out by Odessa. Great play by Wojciechowski. Giving chase is Finn. 1 second, and the horn sounds. Jacks with a dominant performance here, especially in home opening night. They win against the Rhinos 4-2. Everybody electric here at the Jack Shack. Home opening night, check mark. We'll see you tomorrow for a potential 2-game lead in the season series on the El Paso Rhinos, as the Jacks take game 1 of 8 between these two South Division teams by a score of 4-2. Stick taps at center ice for the skaters in white and pink, and a eruption of noise here from the Jack Shack. They win home opener 4-2. They outshoot the Rhinos 35-33 after being outshot through the first 20 minutes, 12-7. The shots really piled up there, and it was close to the end, but J.R. Purney was able to get some breathing room. However, they only needed 3, and thanks to Adam Armijo, he gets the game-winning goal and his second of his NAHL career. Hughes, Good, and Purdy in all adding to their career totals. The lone goal scorers for the Rhinos, Mark LaFrance scored the first goal in period number 1. And then the lone goal in the third for them was A.J. Reed off of a juicy rebound. So tomorrow, game number 2, 7:15 p.m., a jersey auction after the game, benefiting, of course, Pink the Basin and breast cancer awareness. J.R. Pernion getting the second star. It was Adam Armijo with the first star.
First star of the game with 2 dribbles and assists, number 27, Justin.
And Justin Hughes gets the number 1 star. Well, that will do it here from the Ector County Coliseum. We'll see you tomorrow, 7:15, to conclude home opening weekend here from the Ector County Coliseum. Odessa wins 4-2.